Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Joanna. I love to DIY. Rustic and farmhouse is my thing, but I throw in other things too. I'd love for you to stick around by hitting that subscribe button and become part of my YouTube family. Now let's get crafty. Right here, I'm going to take another one of these Dollar Tree butter dishes, and I'm going to use some Waverly wax and some white Waverly chalk paint. And of course I have to sand this again and get all of the shiny off so my paint will stick better. So now I'm done sanding, and I'm going to wipe everything down and get all the dust and the sandpaper sand off. And then I was going to give it Waverly chalk paint, but I ran out and I have to use folk art that I get from Hobby Lobby when it goes on sale. And I'm going to give it 2 coats of paint. I am not going to paint the middle so that my glue will adhere better. So I won't paint the middle of that, which will be the bottom, and I won't paint the middle of the top. Here I'm just going to take my Waverly wax and I'm going to distress it. I'm going to go heavy on the corners and light in the middle until I get it the way that my eye is happy. Some people don't like distressing. If you don't want to, you want to leave it stark white, go ahead. If you want to paint it a different color, you can do that too. It's your project, that's your priority. This is just the way I like to do my stuff. So I got a little heavy-handed with my brown Waverly wax. So I'm going to take my white and I'm going to use a distress brush. I never can say that. A dry brush, and rub white over it and then go lighter with the Waverly wax. Okay, here I'm going to take my floral foam, and I'm going to cut this with a steak knife that I use in my craft room. It's one of the best things to cut these with. I'm just going to slice a slice off, and then I'm going to slice it in half to place down in my container so I can hold my flowers in. Okay, here I'm just putting a little bit of hot glue. And this container is like melamine, or however you say that, and it's cold. So sometimes it doesn't always stick very well. But anyway, I hot glued that in to stick my flowers in. And then I was going to use this cement that I got from Dollar Tree, but I ended up using the super glue that I got at the Dollar Tree because the other one wasn't open. So this is like oh my god, E6000. This is like E6000, which will take longer. And then I'm going to put the super glue in the middle, which will be a 10-second immediate hold, so that I can actually work with it. These are the cutest little dainty flowers, and I got them at Hobby Lobby when they were 40 or 50% off. I can't remember which. I'm just going to pull some little pieces off. I'm snipping them off, and I'm going to just put those little sprigs down in the floral foam. Okay, now I'm just going to put these down in here. I have no rhyme or reason as to the way I do this. I just put them in. I do start with the highest ones in the middle if I have the highest ones. And then I work my way around till it just looks good to me. I'm not a florist. I haven't had experience in it. And I just do what I do and I know what I like. And that's how I do it. Okay, here I'm gonna add my floral moss, and I just want to do this because I don't want to poke all the flowers down. There will be some space showing, and I didn't want my floral foam peeking out, so I'm just putting moss down, and I'm gonna add more flowers till I think it looks good to me. Man, you guys, this stuff is such a mess. I hate working with it. I really do, but, you know, it's needed at times, but that doesn't mean you like it. Ugh, it's just so gross. But, y'all wouldn't believe, this little vacuum picked up every stinking bit of it. I was impressed. Now I'm just going to add more flowers until it looks good to me, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I'm done with my flowers, and apparently I didn't show you yet. Don't worry, it will be there. Anyways, I'm going to take this jute string, and I'm going to wrap it around my fingers a couple times, make a few loops to make me a little bow. I left a tail hanging, and then I left another tail hanging. Then I'm going to take another piece of jute and wrap it around the center and tie it in the back. Sometimes when you tie this, you have to leave it a little bit loose so you can pull your loops and get them even, because I shift to one end normally when I'm tying. And then you just snip your little strings off and you're ready to glue it down. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to glue it right there. Easy peasy. And there it is, all finished. Okay, so I picked up this box back in the spring from Dollar Tree, and I've got my paint and my wax, and I have dog clippers, and I have these little pegs I got from Hobby Lobby. I'm gonna sand this booger down because it has glitter. Sometimes there's a place for glitter and a place not for glitter. This place is not for glitter. So anyways, we got rid of that. Now I'm gonna give it it took 3 coats to cover this blue and all the bumps from where the glitter was and all that. So here I go. I'm gonna start the painting. But I noticed a problem. That stupid sticker. I couldn't get that thing off. I used the heat gun to heat it up, and I thought that would work, and it was burning my finger. So I got my tweezers, and I was trying to pull it. I need 3 hands sometimes, y'all. Just need 3 hands. Okay, I start pulling, and I thought, yay, it's coming, and then I'll be darned if it ain't. So I was getting agitated. So I heated it back up with the heat gun. Y'all, my voice, I think, is going out. My goodness. So I heated up, and I got it good and hot, and I just suffered with my fingers and pulled that bad boy off. Okay, so it's all painted except for the inside, and I'm not worried about that because we're going to be covering that up or filling it in or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so now I take my pegs. I've cut most of them off, but I wanted to show y'all how I did it. So I take my dog clippers, and you do have to work a little bit at it. I'm working on getting some different things to cut with, but these work for the most part. And then you just pop it off. Now I have to sand all of them to make them as flat as possible. And I didn't like this idea. It was given in the middle, so I'm going to get a sheet of sandpaper that I get from the Dollar Tree. They're not the best quality, but they will work. And I'm just going to scrape all these until they seem flat. Okay, now I'm going to take one of the makeup brushes that I get from the Dollar Tree. I love painting with these things. And I'm going to take my Waverly Wax, and I'm going to stain all of my little legs. Y'all might not knew they were legs, but they're going to be legs. Okay, I got them all stained, and now I'm just going to take a makeup sponge that I get from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to put it in my Waverly Wax, and I'm going to distress on this. I'm just going to rub a little heavy on the edges, and then lightly swipe through the rest of the middle and all that. And I'm going to try not to talk so much so you don't have to hear my froggy voice. Now I have a heart that I had in my stash, and I'm going to stain it with the Waverly Wax, and then I'm going to wipe it off like I did the little pegs. Okay, I'm just going to take a little bit of hot glue. I wish I would have used wood glue, but this is just regular hot glue. And I'm going to glue my feet on. There's my big old head. Sorry. Okay, so they're on, and I'm going to wipe this to make sure there's nothing on it, because I'm going to put this little fresh lavender decal I made on there. I made this on my Silhouette Cameo. And I'm just going to squeegee this, and believe it or not, I'm using real transfer tape this time. I had a little piece in my stash, and so I grabbed it. So I'm just going to lay this decal down, and it's not peeling right because I think I had my blade set too deep, but that was my fault, not the vinyl or the transfer tape. That all went down nice. Now I'm going to take my heart and I'm going to glue it to the front of the little box or stand or whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to take this little bow. It's just a shoelace bow. I just tied a bow and then glued it on. And I'm going to take this moss that I hate so much and I'm going to shove it in. Well, actually, I'm going to glue it in a minute. I put it in and then I take it out. But anyways, I glue it down so it won't fall out. There's that little ladybug. I do empty this thing, believe it or not. It cannot hold all that junk. It'd probably catch on fire. Taking these lavender that I get from Walmart. I love them from there. They're very good quality. And I'm just pulling some apart. They come two to a section, so I'm just going to cut the bottom off to make them singles. Now I am just going to put them in there randomly until it looks good to me, per usual. There's where I took the moss out and decided to glue it down because it was coming loose. So I stuck that down in there and secured it down in there. And then I just put a dab of glue on the end of the, what do I have? Lavender. And poke it down in there. And I'm trying to poke it low. It's the reason I cut them off instead of leaving them on the stem, because I don't want to cover up my decal that says fresh lavender. But I'm just going to add these until it looks good to me. And there it is. It looks good to me. I think that is so stinking sweet. Here's the finished product, and like I said, I'm in love with it. And here is the first one, and I'm in love with that too. I'd like to thank you again for watching. I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified when I upload a new video. I would love for you to become a part of my YouTube family. With all that being said, God bless.